Tonight on CTV3 News, Minister Karim Musa breaks silence on controversial case of Joseph Bunda. He demands independent investigation to uncover the truth. He also denies any involvement in the abduction. And while media houses and the Belize Association for Defense Attorneys are demanding the release of surveillance footage that captures Bunda's forcible removal, legal experts warn against the release. And we take you to Day 3 of the Belize Investment Summit. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Friday, September 5th, 2025.
The new designs for Belize's new banknotes have been revealed. But why are only two national figures featured on the banknotes? The individuals honored on our new banknotes have received Belize's highest distinction, the Order of the National Hero. As of January 2025, only two persons have been awarded this title. The Right Honorable George Cadle Price, regarded as the father of the nation, who was the first Prime Minister of Belize and renowned leader in our road to independence, and the Honorable Philip Stanley Wilberforce Golson, one of the longest-serving members of the House of Representatives, known for his unwavering stance on protecting and preserving Belize. By featuring these heroes, we honor their invaluable contributions to the development of our nation. New look, same value, heroes' legacy. Learn more at www.centralbank.org.bz. A message from the Central Bank of Belize.
Celebrate Belize's 44th independence anniversary with us. Join us this September as Belize shines brighter than ever. Be part of the excitement and showcase your business to thousands of viewers during our live coverage of these spectacular events. September 19th, Children's Rally. September 13th, Carousel Carnival. September 20th, Flag Raising Ceremony. And September 21st, the Citizens Parade.
Everybody jump and wave. Show me 1,000 and just show me 1,000 and
Maximize your visibility. All events will be broadcast live on Channel 53 of Centaur Cable Network, available on the Express Plus app and streamed across our popular social media platforms, including CTV3 News, Fiesta FM Radio, and Despierta Belize. Get more value for your advertising dollar, reach a wider audience, and be part of Belize's most celebrated month. Contact us today at 670-9177 for more information.
Good evening. With your newscast, also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7, I am Jaden Gamis. 2 weeks after the controversial return of Belizean national Joseph Bunda to Guatemala, the Minister of Home Affairs, Honorable Karim Musa, has broken his silence on the matter. Speaking publicly for the first time, Minister Musa confirmed that the official police report on the case is expected today as requested by the Prime Minister on Thursday. Despite the ongoing investigation by police, however, Minister Musa says that an independent investigation is necessary to address the public's concern and restore trust.
As you might have heard yesterday, the Prime Minister called me and requested that we wrap up, that the police wraps up the investigation and delivers the file by today. And so the Commissioner of Police arrives back in the country, I think about 1 o'clock this afternoon, but I've already communicated to him, and he has ensured and assured me that it's going to be ready by 4 o'clock this evening.
However, it's been, I think, 12 or 13 days by the time the Prime Minister said this. How is it that it takes that long for such a report to be produced?
The Prime Minister said this yesterday.
Yes.
Yes.
So it would have been about 12 days since the abduction.
Yes, as you might know, Marisol, investigations take a while in any given case. This particular case is no different. And so the police has been investigating that matter. But what you might have seen from that video footage yesterday is a police officer coming to the scene. And then thereafter, I don't know if he recognized somebody. You can't make out the faces based on the video footage, but the person then tells him to leave. And so that has created a huge question. And so the Prime Minister has said that after receiving the investigative report from the police department, he will review it and decide whether or not we need to have an independent investigation. My personal take on it, and I've mentioned it to the Prime Minister, I think regardless of the outcome of the investigation by police, because of the interests of this particular case, in terms of openness and transparency, it warrants an independent investigation.
Echoing the sentences of both Prime Minister John Briceño and Commissioner of Police Chester Williams, Minister Musa stressed that Bunda's alleged kidnapping and subsequent removal to Guatemala were not state-sanctioned.
I think the Prime Minister has made that emphatically clear each time you interview him. There is absolutely no reason for the state to want to abduct him. As you know, we have relations with Guatemala, not formal diplomatic relations to the point of having an extradition treaty. But in a year or two after the ICJ judgment, you best believe we're going to have an extradition treaty. So why would anybody want to take him now when you can extradite him in 2 years? I don't understand the reasoning behind that.
And as you might already know, questions have also been raised about whether Commissioner of Police Dr. Richard Rosado misled the public in his initial briefing. On that point, Musa cautioned against speculation, saying there is no evidence to suggest the Compol intentionally lied. However, he added that there are some questions that remained unanswered.
I heard that remark, and like the media, it raised some questions for me. And so I had called the police commissioner on seeing that in the newscast after the press briefing. And I said, Commissioner, how can you be so sure that the individuals are not police officers? And he said to me, Minister, what I am saying is that the police department is not a part of that. Whether or not those individuals who are in casual outfits are police officers, he cannot say, because there would be on a frolic of their own. But he's saying from the high command of the police, this is not something orchestrated by the police. So that's what he meant. For you to say the Compol lied, you're assuming you saw what he saw. You're assuming you saw the footage that he saw. What is the footage that he saw? You have to ask him, what is the footage you saw that saw the 4 individuals?
There would only be one footage, because he as the commissioner, he would have access to all the surveillance footage from those areas. And at the Monday press briefing, he made reference to surveillance footage, and he said, based on these footages, we saw that there were 4 people involved in a scuffle, 1 who appeared to be Budna. So he would have seen the same footage that everyone else has seen.
And he also said that no police officers approached
Yes,
them.
you need to ask the commissioner what he saw. You're making an assumption and asking a third party what the commissioner saw when he was reviewing the footage. So how can I answer that?
When asked about Bunda's claim that one of his captors communicated with someone named Karim, the minister firmly rejected the allegation. Minister Musa added that he has no personal grievance against Budna and therefore no reason to seek his illegal removal.
I find it a little insulting that you think for one moment that I am the person he's talking about. I find that insulting, Paul, because one, I don't know Budna. He has not offended or violated or molested any of my family members, so I have no grievance against him. He has not had any run-in with me per se. I don't know if in his lives he mentions me. I don't know. I've never heard of it. But why would I, as an attorney at law, as a politician, with my entire future ahead of me, risk my future for Joseph Ryan Budna? Ask yourself that question. Why would I get involved in something like that?
Musa was clear, however, that if evidence proves police involvement, accountability will follow.
I would not want to speculate. I would want to see where the police investigation takes us and where the independent investigation takes us. But I wouldn't want to speculate who those men are. Again, you can't identify them. I think Mr. Budna said repeatedly they wore masks, but from what I saw from the grainy video, it didn't look like they were wearing masks. So again, it will depend on the enhancement of the high quality video, if there is one, to identify those individuals. Heads have to roll, Paul. Absolutely, heads have to roll. And I think the Commissioner of Police said that to let the chips fall where they may.
Even if it is the compol who directed it?
I know even they getting accusations like that, Marisol. That's some dangerous accusations.
Heads will have to roll
No matter who it is, whoever is involved in that, of course.
While acknowledging Bunda's criminal history, once labeled one of Belize's most dangerous figures, Minister Musa maintained that his past does not excuse what took place.
We have to separate oranges from the apples here. Joseph Budna is not just one of the most colorful personalities we've ever had in history. He's one of the most dangerous personalities we've had ever when it comes to minors, when it comes to kidnapping, extortion. These are charges he's been convicted for in multiple jurisdictions. That does not mean, though, that Joseph Budna, the Belizean citizen, does not deserve to have his rights respected. Like I said, in 2 years' time, he may have probably right there at Guatemala jail right now because we would have extradited him under a treaty. There's no reason for anybody to abduct or kidnap him or anything like that. But two wrongs do not make a right. The fact that we have that dangerous person on the streets of Belize does not mean anybody else has the right to go and pick him up and to beat him and to take him to Guatemala.
While Belize has never carried out such an independent probe, Musa says the government would need to carefully navigate the process.
An independent investigation is not anything that has ever been done, at least to my knowledge. The police department is charged to investigate offenses in this country. There is nothing to suggest the Compol is in on this and that he is not taking the right action as it comes to investigating this. I know that Jules is saying, oh, the man said car instead of SUV, but Budna said they wore masks and they weren't wearing masks. So you have to look at all the facts of the case. And in my mind, what is proof positive that we need an independent investigation is the fact that a police officer, a corporal, came on the scene from that footage, which I have to assume is a legitimate footage. I have to assume that, and then was directed by those individuals to leave. That to me sends the message we need to have an independent investigation into this. It's never been done, and so we have to look at the dynamics of that because they will have to have access to all that the police have access to. It's not something common. We'd have to look regionally to see what the processes are, how it's appointed, how do they work along with the DPP moving forward. And so these are things hopefully we can sort out in a very quick time, rapid time, so that they can have access to the police information.
And while here in Belize, Budna's case remains in the headlines, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs continues to engage in its Guatemalan counterparts on the matter. Minister Musa, however, confirmed that the little information has been shared about how Budna ended up across the border.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has been carrying out that discussion. Unfortunately, not much is being offered at this time in terms of information to that effect. In addition to that, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is also looking after the welfare of Mr. Budna, ensuring that he gets whatever he needs, legal counsel, medication, that kind of thing. So if any information will come out of Guatemala, it will be through our Ministries of Foreign Affairs.
And when it comes to the Commissioner of Police, Dr. Richard Rosado, he will not be facing the media until Monday, since a scheduled virtual press briefing with him set for today at 4:30 was abruptly cancelled due to what is being described as circumstances beyond our control. The announcement follows recent developments involving the investigation into the suspected kidnapping and extrajudicial extradition of Joseph Bunda to Guatemala, which has garnered significant public and media attention. The cancellation coincides with an order from Prime Minister John Briceño issued yesterday, instructing Police Minister Karim Musa and Commissioner Rosado to submit a comprehensive police report on the matter by 5 p.m. today. The report is expected to be pivotal as it will inform the next steps in the investigation and potentially shed light on the extent of any alleged conspiracy. The rescheduled press conference is now planned for Monday, with details on the time and format to be announced. During this session, Commissioner Rosado is anticipated to update the public and answer questions regarding the investigation. The move to postpone the briefing follows mounting pressures from various media outlets requesting video footage from the night of the alleged abduction in Orange Walk Town. The police commissioner was supposed to deliver the report to Minister Musa today, which would then be forwarded to the Prime Minister for review. Minister Musa has publicly expressed support for an independent inquiry into the incident, and Prime Minister Briceño indicated he would endorse such an investigation if the evidence points in that direction. All parties involved continue to deny any official involvement or authorization of the kidnapping. Meanwhile, Joseph Bunda remains in custody in Guatemala, awaiting a hearing related to charges of kidnapping and his subsequent escape. And adding more pressure on the release of the footage that shows Joseph Bunda's alleged abduction here in Orange Walk is the media. Media outlets including Channel 7, Plus TV, and XTV have collectively written to Prime Minister John Briceño urging the immediate release of surveillance footage related to the night Joseph Bunda was reportedly assaulted and abducted. The media organizations are specifically requesting access to video recordings from several key locations in the area, namely the Orange Walk District Sub-Treasury, Sandy Hunter Library, the Ministry of Natural Resources District Office Elections and Boundaries Office in Orange Walk, Banquita's House of Culture, Social Security Board's Orange Walk Headquarters, and the Orange Walk branch of the National Bank of Belize. They are seeking footage captured between 8:25 p.m. and 8:35 p.m. on August 22, 2025, a crucial time window connected to the incident. All 6 of these facilities had a clear view of the area where the alleged kidnapping of Ryan Joseph Bunda took place, the letter stated. It is essential for the public interest and the principles of transparency that these recordings be made accessible. Releasing the footage will help uncover the truth and ensure there is no cover-up. The Belize Association of Defense Attorneys, ADA, has issued an urgent appeal for an independent and transparent inquiry into the abduction of Belizean citizen Joseph Bunda, which took place on the night of August 22, 2025 in Orange Walk Town. The incident, happening within 50 feet of a police station, has sparked serious concerns about the conduct of law enforcement officials and potential violations of fundamental human rights. The ADA is demanding the immediate release of all surveillance footage from that night, which could provide critical insights into the events leading up to the abduction. The association emphasizes the importance of making this footage accessible to the public, asserting that transparency is essential for holding those responsible accountable. The actions captured during that night, where a citizen was forcibly taken under circumstances suggesting extrajudicial law and unlawful conduct, are viewed as a grave affront to the rule of law and the rights due process, says the ADA. The ADA warns that if authorities responsible for upholding justice ignores these violations, it risks undermining public trust and the integrity of Belize's legal system. Standing firm in its commitment to human rights and legal integrity, the Belize Association of Defense Attorneys calls on the government of Belize, the Ministry of National Security, and the police department to act swiftly, thoroughly investigating the incident and ensuring justice is served. The ADA stresses that an inaction could lead to a further erosion of public confidence in law enforcement institutions and set a dangerous precedent for human rights and justice in Belize. As calls grow louder for the release of security footage depicting the abduction of Joseph Bunda in Orange Walk, legal experts warn against exposing the video before law enforcement completes their investigation. Audrey Matura, a seasoned attorney and former journalist, emphasizing that releasing the footage prematurely could jeopardize the integrity of the case. Matura outlines several key concerns regarding the potential public dissemination of the video. She explained that making the footage publicly available could interfere with the ongoing investigation and be considered evidence tampering. Additionally, circulating the video widely contained the jury pool, making it difficult to ensure an impartial trial. This contamination could lead defense attorneys to argue that their clients are unable to receive a fair hearing due to the pre-trial publicity. Furthermore, as the charges involve kidnapping and related offenses, the case must be decided by a jury. She also highlighted the importance of police's investigative efforts to locate all involved parties and witnesses. If the footage is already circulating publicly, witnesses and potential Crown witnesses might opt to remain silent or lawyer up, fearing retaliation or prejudice, says Matura. Matura warned that identifying individuals in the footage could lead to dangerous consequences, including witnesses fleeing to avoid arrest or members of the public taking matters into their own hands, mirroring cases like that of Jeffrey Epstein. She stressed that revealing identities could result in harm or even loss of life before justice is served. For those advocating for transparency, Matura noted that while the media has the right under the Freedom of Information Act to request the footage, it should not be released until the trial proceedings. She emphasized that full disclosure during court hearings is essential to protect the integrity of the case and the safety of those involved. With her background in both journalism and prosecution, Matura underscores the importance of safeguarding evidence and maintaining procedural fairness over public demands for immediate access. She concluded by reiterating that the videos released at this stage could do more harm than good, urging the public and media to trust the legal processes and allow justice to take its course. The government of Belize is currently seeking to pass the Moneylenders Amendment Bill 2025, which aims to lower borrowing costs and strengthen oversight of lending practices. The legislation reduces the maximum annual rate of interest fees and charges from over 240% to 144%, consolidating all costs under a single cap. Speaking on the matter on Thursday, Prime Minister John Briceño defended the bill, saying it casts a balance on borrower protection with the ability of lenders to operate.
It is to ensuring that these lenders do not take advantage of our citizens when they are in most need. And so we want to ensure that, yes, they're providing a service, yes, the cost of doing business is higher than the bank because they take bigger risk, but we can't allow them to be able to charge in excess of 240, 250%. And so what we're saying, that we have lowered that down to about 140, 144% total. It's still a large number, but we're saying that the total charges that they have cannot go more than 144%. And secondly, that whenever a borrower signs, they have to list out all of the fees that can be charged to them legally, so that you as a borrower, you signed, you are fully aware of what you're signing on. So afterwards you can't go and say, well, I never know. So that is some of the things that we want. We want to make sure that we can provide something better to protect our citizens, and at the same time to ensure that these money lenders can work within a more clear environment of doing business.
It is of note that the amendments also require full disclosure of all charges before agreements are signed, ensuring borrowers understand their obligations. Lenders must register as company with at least $50,000 in paid-up capital, while those with assets above $1 million must file annual audited accounts and rotate auditors every 7 years. Penalties of up to $5,000 per day would apply for unlawful or hidden fees. The new bill builds on the money lenders regulation of 2017. Now coming up next, Key Cocker considers marijuana legalization in landmark referendum. Eyes tourism boost and progressive change. Stay tuned.
It's here once again. Bigger and better. Fiesta FM 21st anniversary. Come and celebrate with us this September 6th, one of the biggest events of the year, Fiesta FM 21st anniversary.
It's all happening at Central Park at 7 p.m. There will be lots of giveaways and entertainment to the next level.
Come and dance the night away with the legendary, all the way from Dangriga, Maime Martinez. Alongside the mighty Super Furia Band. And on the wheels of steels, all the way from Chetumal, Quintana Roo, Mexico, Felipe Lopez, DJ Diablillo.
Arriba, 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 las manos arriba, arriba, las manos arriba, arriba, arriba. Aquí está el Diablillo y este es un desastre. Y al que no le gusta.
So you don't want to miss this one-of-a-kind event. It's going to be big. It's going to be great. It's Fiesta FM 21st anniversary. See you there.
With Key Cocker preparing to hold a local referendum on the legalization of marijuana, Minister of New Growth Industries Honorable Karim Musa has weighed in, calling the initiative one of vision that could propel the island's tourism sector forward. Speaking on the matter, Musa said the move represents a progressive step for the community, emphasizing that a legalized industry would come with strict regulations and safety protocols to ensure that it benefits residents and the economy.
If Key Cocker is the sole distribution center, meaning you have a cultivation center, more than likely it would have to be an indoor cultivation center. If you have dispensaries in Key Cocker, there will be a licensing process. And so every single plant, if you know the cannabis industry, is tagged from seed all the way to the dispensary, all the way to the consumer. Under the law, the regulated law that we have, you have to get an ID. You have to get an ID in order to access cannabis from the dispensaries. And so that is not something that is a concern to me. What is a concern to me is the illegal trade of cannabis coming from Mexico every single day, endangering the lives of our young men, especially in Belize City, causing all of these rivals, causing all of these conflicts. And so, in my opinion, I view the Key Cocker referendum as a bold initiative by a tourist destination that's saying, hey, tourism is great, but we want to complement it with something. We want to complement it with a regulated industry that keeps cannabis away from young people, that you have to have a card to access it. You have to have areas where you can smoke it. It can't be free for all where you smoke cannabis anywhere on the island. We have consumption lounges. We have restaurant licenses. We have dispensaries. It's going to open up a huge opportunity, especially for tourism, especially for real estate on the island of Key Cocker. And you best believe that that money, the portion of it going back to Keycorker, will enhance the destination with infrastructure, with education opportunities for the islanders. So there's a lot of potential, and I think Keycorker got way ahead of the rest of Belize.
Some critics have raised concerns about the potential for illegal movement of marijuana from Keycorker if legalization is approved. Minister Musa, however, said he is not worried, adding that proper oversight would minimize risks.
There are special zones and special areas created all the time across Belize, whether it's the Corozal Free Zone, whether it's Harvest Key, whether it's different EPZs or DPAs throughout the country. Keycorker would be a cannabis destination designated as such, sort of like a little Amsterdam, if you will. And so the cannabis that is produced there will be sold there, small quantities. So you cannot expect that it will then get across the country. And if it does, like I said, there is an illegal trade that has tons more illegal cannabis, which we don't know the safety of that. And so that's another added bonus to this, is that we'll get safe products, tested products, as opposed to what is coming in from Mexico right now.
As for expected objections from churches, Musa says he anticipates some pushback but remains confident that faith leaders will respect the democratic process.
I expect a pushback from the churches. That's always expected. But if you recall what Pastor Wade, now Senator Wade, had said in the lead up to the referendum, was that let the people decide. If the people decide we want cannabis, then by all means, let us create legislation, responsible, regulated legislation to allow for an industry to be created. So in the lead up to the referendum, I expect them to advocate against it. But at the same time, I expect them to respect it once the decision is made.
The referendum marks the first community-driven vote of its kind in Belize, and its outcome could set the stage for wider discussions on cannabis policy nationwide. The government of Belize is moving forward with plans to transform the Belize Tax Service Department into a semi-autonomous revenue authority, SARA. A change official says will modernize tax collection and improve efficiency. But the proposal has raised some concern with the Public Service Union, PSU, which warns that the transition could threaten public officers' job security. Prime Minister John Briceño has dismissed those claims, insisting the reform is not about cutting jobs. He says an education campaign will soon be rolled out to clarify how the new system will work and what it means for employees.
There's no suspension. But yes, what we need to do is to have not a PR campaign, but an educational campaign. That's when Mrs. Langsford came to Cabinet, because I invited her to Cabinet to make a presentation to us. We made a point that we don't need a PR campaign, we need an educational campaign. Because basically all we're doing is moving the BTS into a semi-autonomous organization. Why semi-autonomous? Because we have looked at what has happened in the Caribbean, in Guyana, Trinidad, Jamaica. Those are the two main countries that we studied. And it pointed out that those that went into a full autonomous organization, it did not work, so they had to pull it back and then fix it. So in this case, what we're doing, going to do it as semi-autonomous. They still report to the Ministry of Finance. As the Minister of Finance, I am still fully responsible for them. But we believe that by putting it as a semi-autonomous organization or body, we will be able to provide a better service to our clients, who are the Belizean people, who are the Belizean taxpayers.
Since the start of September, Belizeans applying for a passport no longer need to find a recommender, a requirement that had long been criticized as burdensome as unnecessary. The change was confirmed by government earlier this month, describing it as a long overdue step toward modernizing the passport system and making government services more accessible. The change, according to Prime Minister John Briceño, will ensure a faster, smoother process, as since the old way oftentimes slowed down the process for ordinary Belizeans who struggle to find someone qualified to vouch for them.
As a citizen of this country, you have a right to get a passport. You have your birth certificate and you have all of the necessary. Nobody need to recommend you to get a passport. And then what has happened after that? You have a lot of JPs standing over by the passport office, and you come from Orange Rock and they say, oops, I need to sign. I don't know nobody. And they go out there and say, hey, I had a JP and sign it, and they charge you a fee, which you shouldn't do. It is unnecessary. There are certain things that we have to move from immigration. For instance, when people apply for a permanent residency or they apply for a nationality, they can't leave the country for more than a year. Those are things that were put in place 50, 60, maybe 100 years ago. Today, people have to travel. Once you can show that you're living in Belize and you may need to go to business in United States or Mexico or wherever it is, you should be allowed to. Or if you go to visit a family that's sick or whatever, that should not prevent you from getting your PR or your nationality. So we have to be modernizing these laws in immigration and to make it more transparent and easier for those that are applying and those that need the services from the immigration departments.
Officials emphasize that while the recommender has been removed, security features and verification procedures remain in place to protect the integrity of Belize's passports. The price of liquid petroleum gas will experience a slight decrease of 6 cents, which will come into effect on Monday, September 8th. The change reflects wholesale volume and retail sale by volume in both urban and rural areas. This means that the wholesale price for LPG will now be $4.22, down from $4.82. In urban areas, the retail price will be $1.33 per pound or $5.82 per gallon. Prices in the rural areas will decrease to $1.35 per pound or $5.92 per gallon. According to the Supplies Control Unit, SCU, in the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security, and Enterprise, the increase of 10 cents per gallon is a result of an increase in the acquisition price for both butane and propane. There is more news after the break. Stay tuned.
It's here once again. Bigger and better. Fiesta FM 21st anniversary. Come and celebrate with us this September 6th, one of the biggest events of the year, Fiesta FM 21st anniversary.
It's all happening at Central Park at 7 p.m. There will be lots of giveaways and entertainment to the next level.
Come and dance the night away with the legendary, all the way from Dangriga, Maymay Martinez. Alongside the mighty Super Furia Band. And on the wheels of steels, all the way from Chetumal, Quintana Roo, Mexico, Felipe Lopez, DJ Diablillo.
Arriba, 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 las manos arriba, arriba, las manos arriba, arriba, arriba. Aquí está el Diablillo y este es un desastre. Y al que no le gusta.
So you don't want to miss this one-of-a-kind event. It's going to be big. It's going to be great. It's Fiesta FM 21st anniversary. See you there.
As the United States seeks agreements with regional partners to act as a safe third countries for migrants, Belize may be softening its stance on the issue. Earlier this year, Prime Minister John Briceño stated firmly that Belize would not take on such a role. However, as the tides shift and the matter becomes clearer, PM has confirmed that negotiations are underway with U.S. officials and said Belize could consider opening its borders though only under very strict conditions.
World shifts to regional supply chains.
We're working on it. We have had discussions. We brought it to cabinet, and the cabinet has given the green light to continue the negotiations. But basically, what we will do, should we get to that point, and we are in negotiations with the U.S. government, or with the U.S. government, is that we are going to determine what countries or what region we want that would be allowed to come, the people to be able to come. We will determine how much we will allow people to come into Belize. It's not going to be open. We're going to say we want 100 or 10 or 50. We're working on that number. I could assure you it's not going to be a large number. And thirdly, we want to ensure that whenever that happens, then that the funding would be sent over to be able to allow these people to be able to settle into Belize whilst that their case goes through the U.S. courts.
The Inter-American Development Bank, IDB, is supporting Belize's effort to increase labor force participation and improve employability through a finance package of $8 million. The operation will support a program that aims to address the country's skilled labor shortage by strengthening public employment services and expanding access to relevant quality training in high-demand sectors such as tourism, business process outsourcing, and the information and communication technology sector. The program is expected to benefit over 20,000 job seekers, including at least 2,360 individuals trained in priority sectors. It will also support a 200% increase in the number of active job seekers registered in the Public Employment Service and a 50% increase in registered job vacancies. The Prime Minister of Belize, Honorable John Briceño, and the General Manager of the Country Department for Central America, Haiti, Mexico, Panama, and the Dominican Republic of the IDB, Thomas Bermudez, signed the loan contract for the program during the Belize Investment Summit in San Pedro Ambergris Caye. The initiative will modernize Belize's public employment services by introducing digital platforms for job matching, labor marketing information, and case management. It will also implement new service models tailored to the needs of vulnerable groups, including outreach strategies, career guidance, and support for entrepreneurship in areas with limited salary employment opportunities. Furthermore, an employment engagement strategy will be introduced to build partnerships with employers, align services with labor market needs, increase vacancy registrations, and improve job matching. Now, the program will also develop talent pipelines in priority sectors, offering demand-driven training aligned with employer needs. A pilot initiative will also focus on advanced digital skills, preparing participants for remote and nearshore ICT employment. Now, to support women's labor force participation, the program will train child care workers with a focus on caring for children with disabilities. It will also offer stipends to all participants to reduce financial barriers and promote inclusion of vulnerable groups in high-demand sectors. The program will support migrants by moving access to employment services and training tailored to their needs, including assistance with work permits, language support, and culturally relevant outreach. The IDB's financing package includes a $7 million loan with a 5.5-year grace period and a $1 million in non-reimbursable investment financing from the IDB grant facility. The program's activities will also be financed by the resources of a joint co-financing through a separate loan of $7 million provided to Belize by Taiwan's International Cooperation and Development Fund, the ICDF. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Monday, September 8th, here on CTV3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at www.CTV3BelizeNews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/CTV3BelizeNews or our YouTube channel at CTV3 NewsBZ. From all of us here at CTV3, thank you for watching and listening, and have a good night.